And it's hard to get out of your own head. But if you look at like, okay, what am I actually doing for them? And what do they actually want me to do for them? That's why we ask, because we are always a little bit wrong. We always make these assumptions around what people want. And then when we talk to them, it's like, well, I mean, kinda, but actually, this other thing is so much more important to me.
Hello and welcome to episode 283 of the Wisdom and the Tangents podcast. If you're new around here, welcome. Thanks so much for pressing play. I'm really glad that you're here. I'm John. I'm the host. I'm a wedding and commercial photographer. I'm also a business coach, and I help photographers and creative entrepreneurs like yourself to build your business, grow your community, and create the lifestyle that you've always dreamed of. And this podcast is a little piece of how I do that. And this is a really great conversation. I really enjoyed this one. I have Heidi Thompson on the show today. She is a wedding business coach, marketing strategist, best-selling author, and overall just marketing nerd in the best way. And we get into some nerdy marketing today. But yeah, it's so good, so full of actionable steps and mindsets and things that you can implement into the way that you are viewing marketing in your business. So buckle in for today's episode. It's really great. Before we get into my conversation with Heidi, I did want to tell you a little bit about our sponsor of the show today, Pic-Time. If you listened to last week's episode, where I was talking with Nathan Chansky about how to move from selling, kind of that sleazy selling feel where you're trying to sell to your clients, and move into more of a serving role where you're serving your clients with your offers and your products. Pic-Time really steps in to help you with this, because you are now serving your clients with amazing prints, a very easy way for them to order prints, albums, canvases, whatever you want to put on there, Christmas ornaments. Have those on there for them to purchase and give as gifts. But it makes it really easy. The automations are amazing. I love setting up those. I just got a notification that I had another sale just yesterday, and it's really nice to get those emails and you're just like, I feel like I didn't do anything except present this in front of my clients, and then they see the value of it and they're able to purchase. So definitely check out Pic-Time, allheartphoto.com/PICTIME. So now get ready to reshape the way that you are thinking about how you market your business. And let's get into the conversation with Heidi Thompson. I have a question about your brand colors, because they're like so vibrant and so colorful. And I feel like I need more color in my life, in my branding. And I really leaned into the dark a few years ago of just like, I'm a wedding photographer. Everything is like bright and airy and, white dresses and everything. I need some darkness to kind of like offset it. But I also need some color. And I love how yours came about. I see that painting back behind you. Is that like inspiration, or did that painting come after the brand colors?
It actually came after I found it, and I was like, "Oh, that's a nice pop of color." But it was when I've always kind of been a big color fan, and when I was doing the rebrand for the website I'm using now, it was so funny. Like, the initial brand concept and kit came back almost identical to what we landed on. And it was like, yes, this is perfect. I know in the wedding industry, things are so pastel and blush, and that's not me, not my jam.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I definitely resonate with that. I'm like I will take photos of this.
Yeah,
This
of
is
course.
lovely. This is for you 100%. But like for me, it just doesn't whenever because I've had those websites in the past where it is very very light and very kind of like typical for a wedding photographer, what you would assume. And yeah, I don't know. I went like black background and everything for a while, and I'm I'm needing to get back into color. And I just love all the color like on your website and like throughout your branding and in your hair.
Oh, thank you.
You've always got the most colorful hair, which I love. When did that start? Because I did it. Fun story. Well, I think it's kind of fun. Whenever my wife and I met, within a week of us meeting, we both dyed each other's hair, and I dyed blue streaks in her hair, and then she dyed my hair purple. And that was 14 years ago. And we have dyed each other's hair since then. But it was like a fun thing that we were not interested in dating at all. But it was like this very intimate thing, someone else dyeing your hair with a almost stranger who like, it had literally been less than a week that we knew each other. But like, when did you start playing with color in your hair?
That is such a cool story. I started as a weenie. I was just like, I'll just do things at the bottom. I'll just do little bits at
Yes.
the bottom.
If I hate
Probably,
it, I can just cut it
yeah,
off.
yeah. Probably around the same time. And then I did that for a few years. And then I was like, screw it. I'm just going to dye my whole head because
Yeah.
I am a very low maintenance person. And I was like, I'm not going to retouch it every 6 months or whatever. And I still don't. And it's like, you know what? It just works.
Yeah. That's great. How'd you land on, is that a purple? Like
Yeah. It's like a
okay.
bluey purple.
Nice. Almost like a peacock type
Yeah.
purple. Okay. Yeah. There was one year where like my wife did not retouch hers for a while, and it like started fading because it was, a box color. So it like went from purple to blue to like a turquoise, and we were like, this is very peacock. This kind of looks good. But yeah, no, I love it. I love purple things. My son got me this little purple penguin, which is one of my favorite animals. Because at his school they have a 3D printer, and he was getting gifts for everyone for Christmas, and he was like, kind of like trying to very slyly be like, "So, Dad, what's your favorite animal?" And what's your favorite color? And he's like got a pen and paper, just like writing things
No
down.
reason. No reason.
No reason, but please tell me all. And also, if you were to get like a 3D printed animal, would you want 3 inches or 4 inches tall?
Yeah, no reason.
No reason at all. But no, I love purple, and just I feel like dyeing your hair really makes you, I mean, obviously makes you stand out, but like it gives you like a different confidence to go throughout the world, of just like knowing that like I, I I feel okay that people are looking at me, and I can go out and do things that maybe you couldn't do before. Do
Yeah.
you kind of feel that?
Yeah, and it's funny, my husband always jokes like that is now what I feed on. And someone will compliment my hair and he's like, there she is. She's got her energy boost.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. Okay. Oh, well, Heidi, tell us a little bit about you, what you do, where you're based, all those kinds of things.
Yeah, so I'm based in San Diego. I work with wedding professionals all around the world, and my focus in my business is really helping wedding professionals make their marketing easier, make it work so they can book clients they love and build a business that doesn't require them to work, 60, 80, 100-hour weeks like we see so often in the industry.
I know. Yeah, no, I love that. Yeah, that is like the downfall of being an entrepreneur, of, that whole thing where people talk about, I left my 9 to 5 to work 24/7.
Yep.
And it's like, it does not have to be that way. And I love that you're out there just being like, hey, there are systems, there are things you can put in place to where you're not having to do this all on your own. I know for me, years ago, whenever I found automations, I was like, oh, this changes everything.
Yeah.
I'm going to have my evenings back to where I'm not working until 2 o'clock in the morning trying to get all of this done. But yeah, has there been like something that you've seen, like any like misconceptions about marketing that you've seen over the years from people?
Lots.
Okay.
Yeah. But I think the biggest thing that I see happen time and time again is that marketing is just about like shouting into the void. It's just about, hey, look at me, look over here. I can do this for you. And I see people then wanting to like ratchet up the volume more and more and more and more when it's not working because they think, it's a visibility thing. I'm not being seen by enough.
If I can just yell a little bit louder, maybe.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh no, I can see that. Like there is something, I don't know if it's like a psychological thing of when something is not working, or when we have like a part of, like I think about like with like sports or something. I remember maybe it was my coach, maybe it was just something that I saw on like Friday Night Lights or something. But of like, if you are really good in one area, but kind of lacking in another, we don't really lean to the, I'm going to work on this thing that I'm already like predisposed to be good at. Like I'm just naturally good over here. It's like, oh, I'm not great over here. I'm going to spend all of my time working on this thing to bring me up to par when you're already well above par on the other. And that's not actually a good being above par in golf. But, anyway, you're excelling on this, and you're just like, you could be leaning into it and just really become amazing. And I feel like we do that in marketing too, like you were saying, of just like, you're yelling out there, it's not working. And then it's like, instead of changing things or working on a different way, we're just like, okay, this isn't working, let me yell louder.
Yeah.
Yeah. What are some ways that we can do that to where we're not just like just yelling louder, but we're actually like shifting gears into something else?
Yeah, I think the biggest shift people can make is recognizing that at its root, marketing is psychology. And it's why I love it, because you have to understand what is going on in someone's head in order to convince them to buy something from you. You just have to, or to convince them to do anything you want them to do, to convince your kid to do something. You have to understand that person, understand their motivations, understand what they care about, what their concerns are. And what I see so much with marketing in the wedding industry is people don't really think about that. They just think about like, hey, here's a pretty photo. Hey, here's, this thing we did. Here's what like your wedding could look like. But if you take it back to, we need to understand the person. We need to understand what's driving them, what their motivation is, what they're really looking for. You can approach marketing from like a problem solution position that becomes so much better, because when you understand the problem someone actually has deep down, you can show up and be like, hey, you're going through this, you're feeling this way, you're concerned about this. I have this exact solution for your problem. And then they naturally want to buy that, because of course they do. It's like, I had like a 2-day headache. If you would have presented me with like the perfect painkiller, I would have paid you infinite amount of money. Like
exactly
for this exact type of headache with like this exact like atmospheric thing that's going on and these allergies at the moment. Yeah, if you can present someone with that kind of solution, they're going to get excited about it. But we don't get specific enough, and we don't get into the problem enough and in the understanding to then position ourselves as the solution. Because I think for a long time, what the marketing industry has done has been like, I am a fill-in job title. You know, I'm a photographer, I'm a planner, I'm a caterer. But what eventually happens in a market is when you get too many of those people, well, now we have to be able to differentiate. We have to be a photographer that solves X problem, a photographer that serves X person, so that you can actually compete. So it's really this lack of looking at the person that you're trying to serve and figuring out, okay, deep down, because you cannot guess at this, you have to actually talk to people deep down, like what are they actually looking for? And if you just serve that up to them on a platter, they will buy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, it's so like we all want to be seen and like heard and known. And a lot of times in our marketing, like you're saying, we're just throwing things out there, being like very generic, almost afraid to really dive deep into to to let people know that you do see them. But whenever you can go deep into those specifics, like then your leads, your potential clients are feeling seen from you, and that's all that we want. And then 100% they're going to be like, ooh, this one, they know. Like I connect with them already, just like with the headache thing, like because there could be other, pain medicine or whatever, or an ice pack or something that's just like, this is I sell this thing. Here's a pretty photo of these pills, and you should know what this means and how it's going to help you. But whenever you see the one that's just like, hey, the storm that came in 2 days ago, barometric pressure's all janky. We're going through spring, everything is blooming. This is why your temples are on fire and you can't breathe right now. It's like, give me these pills. Yeah. I will take them all because you feel seen. And yeah, oh man, I love that. Like, do you have any tips for people who are just like, Heidi, that sounds great, but I don't know. I don't know my customer, or I don't know what I need to talk about, because I just like I have these photos or I have this product, but I don't really know what their pain points are or what would connect with them.
Yeah, absolutely. It's part of my process that I take my clients through, and I have a book on it. I'm actually republishing in a couple of weeks, so I'm really excited about that.
Nice. Yeah.
But really, when it comes right down to it, it is going to the people that you have worked with in the past, that you've loved, that you wish you could clone and work with over and over and over again, and asking them some key questions. And we can go into those, but really this is about getting out of your own head and trying to like make up what you think they care about, because we are always at least a little bit wrong. And this is one of those things that, like, if it's a little bit wrong, it doesn't click. But when it's like 100% there, it is absolute magic. So making sure that you are like really exactly spot on with what you're talking about in your marketing. And that's where most of the issue comes from. It's not the volume. It's not the quantity. It's you're talking about something that your people don't actually care about. So for, a lot of planners that I work with, they're talking about having a stress-free wedding. They're talking about making the planning easier. But the problem is everybody else is also talking about that.
Right. That's what a planner does.
Right.
So everyone's looking for that. They're like, yes, I am hiring a planner because I want it to be easier and stress-free.
But if you go to your best clients and you ask them some key questions like, why did you book me instead of someone else? I think that is a great question to get some insight on, like, your special sauce that you're probably not really aware of because it's just something you do. It's just the way you exist in the world, and it naturally attracted these people. That is a really, really excellent question to ask. What would you say if you were referring me to a friend that should work with me? Because that gets them outside of their own perspective and puts them into, okay, how would I describe you? What would I say was really important about that experience? And
even possibly bring up some friends that they would be like, ooh, actually, I do have a friend getting married. I should refer you to them.
Yeah.
And then like, that's like a whole real world experience for them to be like, okay, yeah, Jessica, let me think, what would I tell Jessica? And then that's even better than them trying to like think it up.
Exactly. Yeah. Because it's like, it's really hard to put yourself in those shoes unless you're actually like, okay, what would I tell her that she needs to know about you specifically? And then, you know, the good stuff starts to come out and you start to be like, oh, interesting. I wouldn't have thought that that person would care about that they would even be interested in that sort of thing. And then I think it's always really good to ask questions around, what were you concerned about? What were you worried about? These sorts of things, because then you get this combination that is magic in marketing of the before and after picture. You know, you get I was really concerned about who to hire for our photos because we don't have a ton of photos together as a couple. We both hate being photographed. It makes us feel super uncomfortable. We knew this is something we needed to do. We weren't thrilled about it, but we knew we needed to do this. And then as part of the answers of the questions of, well, why did you choose me instead of someone else? And what would you say to someone else? You're going to get the after, where it's, well, we decided to go with you because XYZ, you made us feel more comfortable in this particular way, in that particular way. And you know what? I can't believe it. But, my husband said to me afterwards, he actually had a really good time when we went and we did those sunset photos. And we were like, all three of us were just like laughing and having a good time. Oh my God, that is marketing gold in that story right there. Because for someone who feels just like them, that is like, oh, I don't even really want to hire a photographer, but I know I need to. And I know that's what you do. Yeah. And I feel so weird and I feel so awkward. And you see in this person's marketing that they're like, hey, do you feel super weird and awkward when you're photographed and you hate it and you actively avoid it and you run away from it when your friends take photos? I'm the photographer for you. All of a sudden, that just pulls that person right in and sets them apart. Oh, yeah. Who else do you want to work with? They're the only ones speaking to you directly like that.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Yeah, because that is so common for people to just be like, I'm awkward. And 90% of the time, they're not really that awkward. They just, they don't know what to do. They're not professional models. And they just need a little guidance and a little, confidence. And whenever you're able to speak to them like that, like that's going to give them that confidence to be like, oh yeah, okay.
Because this will be fun. You're not saying, I'm a photographer. You're saying, you feel a certain way. And here's how we're going to make you look incredible in your photos, even though you feel that way.
Yeah.
That's a transformation that nobody else is speaking to. And I swear it's like 3% of our industry is actually operating on that level.
Your client's experience extends far past the photo shoot and into the photo delivery service. Let's stop using boring old delivery services and clunky portfolio pages where you need to send like a 15-step direction page on how to even download the photos. Enter Pic-Time. Pic-Time is a gorgeous photo delivery service that is so customizable. You can incorporate your brand colors and logo. You can customize how it looks for your clients, all while monitoring how they can download photos, what watermarks you have on there, and a bunch of security for their privacy, and so people aren't just downloading photos here and there. And the best part, which quite literally pays for itself, is the print shop. They have a lot of options with really high quality printers all across the states. Pic-Time also creates sales automations for just about every holiday, which you can easily set up and apply to galleries in minutes, making you extra money and serving your clients with high quality printed artwork. Because we don't want these photos dying on a computer somewhere. Right now, you can get your first month absolutely free by going to allheartphoto.com/pictime. That's allheartphoto.com/PICTIME and get 1 month free. Now, back to the show.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I had someone book me earlier this year because of a reel that I posted, which was just like, it. I was going to say a trash reel. It wasn't a trash reel, but it was one that I didn't put a lot of thought into. It wasn't something that I was like, ooh, this is going to be a good audio or whatever. It was just like some behind the scenes videos that I took at the wedding, and then that my like second shooter took of me working. It wasn't me saying like, and this is how I post people, and this is how you're going to feel, but like they saw how I worked, and then they're like, ooh, that looks great.
Yeah.
Like that looks like what we need. And I was like, that kind of like opened up something for me where I was like, okay, I really need to be showing more of my process and sharing more about like how I plan things and how I do things to help people, other than just like, I'm a photographer, I'm going to show up on your wedding day and like we're going to take amazing photos. It's like, sure, but like, how do I know? How do I like, how can you build that trust immediately? And I love that, like you were saying, of just like really diving deep into who your potential clients are, their pain points, and speaking to those, because then that builds that trust immediately to where they're just like, yeah, you're the one for us because you said this, I identified with it, and then you showed me the outcome after working with you. I need nothing else. Where do I throw my money?
Yeah, and it's a funny thing too, because it allows you to change the focus of your marketing from yourself to the people that you help, which I think all of us are more comfortable with deep down.
Yeah.
We care about,
but we don't do it. We always want to talk about ourselves.
We care about the people we work with. Like we want to focus on them and how incredible they are. And it's kind of awkward to talk about yourself all the time. And I get that. But when you do shine the light on them in that particular way, it allows people to see themselves in it in a way that they can't when you're like, I'm a photographer. And so often when I start with people and I ask them like, okay, why should I book you instead of someone else? What makes you stand apart? They start just describing the job description. And it's like, yes, everyone else does all these things. Everyone else is required to do all these things. Everyone else. And it's hard to get out of your own head. But if you look at like, okay, what am I actually doing for them? And what do they actually want me to do for them? That's why we ask, because we are always a little bit wrong. We always make these assumptions around what people want. And then when we talk to them, it's like, well, I mean, kind of, but actually this other thing is so much more important to me. So like to give you an example, a planner that I worked with was very much on the stress-free, like typical planner marketing train. We looked at her best clients. She went and she talked to them. She realized that all of her favorite clients were either South Asian or in a relationship where they were marrying into a South Asian family. And they were like, yeah, I mean, sure, stress is one thing. But what we really saw was you're really good at being able to take a cultural tradition and allow us to put our own spin on it. Because I've been to 27 Indian weddings. I don't want my wedding to be like my sisters and my brothers and my cousins. And the second she changed her marketing message on her website, on social media, everywhere to be about, we're not going to have just another Indian wedding. You're going to have something that is so uniquely you, and showing that in the images, people were like, yeah, like, let me give you my money. That's exactly what I want.
Oh yeah. Yeah, and that's so big in the wedding industry because it is so traditional.
Yeah.
There are so many traditions, especially with cultural weddings, but even like, traditional American weddings, like we have a bunch of traditions that are the same. And we just do them because it's the same. And that's something that like I try to talk to my couples about. Like I'm very big about non-traditional, going against tradition, being yourself, and just like asking them like, do you want to do like a garter toss? Do you want to do that, like get that whole scene in front of your grandparents? If you do, great, let's do it. If you're all for it, 100%. But if you're like, yeah, I don't really like this, then we can figure out other things to do, or just like cut that from the timeline completely. But no, I love that, of just like, it is very easy to, because she could have marketed for, South Asian weddings, of just like, look, I can do this. I can organize all these things. I know all the traditions. I know like we're going from this to this, and I know when everyone's going to come up, and like I can walk through all of that with everyone. But so can any other multicultural wedding planner.
And they still would have overlooked her because
exactly,
that's not what they want.
It's not what they wanted. Yeah. And they're like, yeah, sure. And anyone else that we see who has an Indian wedding on their website, they can do the same thing.
Yeah.
They've done it, obviously.
And I think so much of like ideal client and marketing work, people get hung up on this, like, well, that's not 100% unique. That's not. And okay, there are probably other planners that are planning South Asian weddings with your own personal twist. But guess what? Nobody's talking about it. So even if, other people are doing this same thing, if you make your brand about that, you're the only one talking about it. They don't know that you can solve that problem because that's not what you're talking about in your marketing. You're talking about just broadly South Asian weddings, or you're talking about broadly less stress. They don't know. You have to tell people. And, I always tell people, you have 5 seconds or less when someone lands on your website. They need to be able to see instantly, like, are you a hell yes, or are you a maybe? And we don't really want to be in the maybe column, because that's where you start having to fight based on price.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. You're fighting based on price, or you're just like, let me get on a discovery call with me, and then I will, talk you into working with me.
Yeah.
It was like, that is so much work. Like, we really need our websites to be doing the heavy lifting for us, through our imagery, through our copy, and just like setting everything aside, or apart from everyone else who's doing the same thing. And I love what you were talking about with like reaching out to your past clients who were amazing, that like, they had a great experience. You had a great experience working with them. Everything overall was 5 stars. And then just really talking to them, from that, like getting that back. Is this like, would you recommend like putting a questionnaire together, or even just like, you got their number, just send them a text and being like, hey, could we meet up for coffee and chat? What do you see kind of works best in that area?
Yeah, so you can kind of divide and conquer here a little bit. I feel like there is something very special about a person-to-person conversation, whether that's in person, whether that's on Zoom. We flow more in our language. We let more out in our language. We don't edit as much as when we're writing.
Mm-hmm.
I think we all have like our 7th grade math teacher in our 7th grade English teacher in our head. Like,
I know
every time we're writing and it's like, oh, change that. Maybe don't talk about that. So while you
not so many exclamation points, John.
So I think, if you were to actually talk to maybe 2 or 3 people, like your absolute favorite, you can do more and have that be in person, have that be on Zoom. Zoom's great because you can record it and get the transcript. I mean, you can record in person too, but it just makes it a little bit easier. And then if you want to survey the rest of the people, that's fine. I think having that more in-depth touch point with people where they can be more free to say what they're going to say. And then you can be like, tell me more about that, because I did not think you were going to say that. And then you can let them, go deeper on it. It's going to give you more to work with. It's going to yield more insights than just what someone would write on a form.
Yeah, no, I totally see that, because I'm the same way. Like, if someone sends me a form, like after I go to a conference or something, it's just like, fill out this feedback form. I'm like, I really want to share everything, but also I'm like on my phone or something happens. I've got 3 kids. I'm constantly getting interrupted by stuff. And I only have like so many hours to work during the day while they're at school. So I'm like, I'm not going to do this survey for 15 minutes.
And if you do, it's going to be super quick. Like, it was great.
It's going to be, it was great. I really connected and, definitely have that speaker back.
Yeah.
And
like, part of that is not asking for feedback. It's asking specific questions, because people don't know what you need to know from them. It's, what were you concerned about? Why did you decide to work with me instead of someone else? These questions actually prompt people, even in a survey format, which, look, if you're only going to do a survey, if that's the only way you're going to do this, you're still going to get more out of it. But I would rather see people, at least have a couple conversations. And I do this in my business, once a year, I'll talk to a couple of the people that I've worked with that I love, that I want to work with more people like them. And I just have a Zoom call, have a chat, ask some questions. And it always brings me back to center. Even as I've been putting stuff together in the run up to this book launch, I've had to readjust certain things that I was going to say in my marketing, because I was like, okay, I need to make sure I talk about this. But then I go look at like, what did they say? And I was like, not quite. I need to adjust this to come at it from this angle instead of that angle, because that's not what they're telling me is the most important thing.
Yeah. Oh man, there's something about like we build up these things in our heads so often of, well, this is obviously what people are thinking, or this is what is most important. And it could be based on, what we're seeing on social media or trends in other industries or other markets. And then like actually hearing it from the people who have hired you, or, who read your book and then like gave feedback. And you're like, ooh, actually for this relaunch, this would be a better marketing point than, maybe what you used first go around.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's just, I don't know. I think we get, we kind of isolate ourselves a lot.
Totally.
And feel like we have to do everything on our own. And like, I know what we need to be saying, or even I don't know what to say, but I saw this other person talking about this, so I'm going to make this 18-part carousel with a bunch of text kind of copying what they said. But it doesn't like really resonate with your people, because there's something different that they're looking for.
And to give you an example of that, so with the content that I've been creating around this book launch for my podcast, for my emails, things like that, my inclination was to come at it from the perspective of getting more inquiries, getting bookings. and I was going through it, and AI is great at pattern recognition to use as like a partner on this. I was finding, yeah, that's not actually the problem people are seeing right now. People are getting these inquiries, they're getting ghosted. And they're getting ghosted for the same reason, because they're not standing out, because they're not clearly solving the problem. But they're coming at it from, my problem is I'm getting inquiries, I'm getting ghosted. My problem is not, I need more inquiries. Because in their minds, then they're just going to ghost me. That doesn't solve the problem.
Right. Yeah. When 9 out of 10 don't return my email, I don't need another 100. Right. I just need better ones.
I need to plug the hole in this bucket and stop pouring water into it.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, that is really good. Okay. Heidi, before we wrap things up, any last words for the listeners? Anything that would be great for them, like maybe a first step into maybe reaching out to past clients, or even like figuring out who to talk to?
Yeah. So when it comes to figuring out who to talk to, you want to look at the people that you're like, oh my God, if I could work with John at every single wedding, I would be the happiest person ever. You know,
you would.
And then the way we get people to agree to actually talk to you is by using honest, genuine flattery. Because if you show up in someone's inbox and someone's text and you're like, I miss you, you know, if I could work with you every day, I would be so happy, and I need to find more Johns in the world. Can you answer a couple questions for me? Or can we hop on a quick call and can I ask you a few questions? And that would really help me find more people just like you. Most people are like, well, yes, of course. Yeah. I'd be more than happy.
I know I would. I'd be like, yeah, I will find time in my schedule. Yeah. Let's do this.
And it sounds corny and it sounds funny, but if you are ever approached in that way, watch your own response, because everyone likes to feel special. And when you get told by someone that you paid for a service, that you worked with, that you loved, that, hey, you're the model, you're who I'm trying to replicate, it's like, oh my God, that's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that is the thing, like genuine flattery, and not the, you know, because people, we have BS meters that are very fine tuned these days, and people are gonna weed that out. But yeah, no, I mean, if I got an email like that or a text or something, and be like, yes, absolutely. I'm flattered, but also like, I want to help you because I really enjoyed working together and I want you to succeed.
And I can really help you. Like, that makes them be able to give genuine value. And everyone likes to do that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Awesome. Okay, Heidi, this has been so much fun. Before we wrap up with like where people can find you, listen to your podcast, get your book, all the things, it's part of the show that I like to do where we talk about what we're loving this week. So it can be book, TV show, podcast, whatever. Could be literally anything. What are you loving this week?
Okay, I'm going to go slightly broad with this because my husband just signed up for Crunchyroll, and I'm just getting into a bunch of different animes, and I'm like, oh, this is going to be a problem.
Okay.
And I just watched Akira for the first time. I can't believe I've never seen it. So I'm like falling down this whole rabbit hole of anime, and I'm loving it.
Okay. I have not seen a lot of anime. That was kind of like I don't know. I kind of grew up pretty sheltered of like what I could watch. Like there was a whole like, we're not going to have Pokemon in the house because they're pocket monsters and we don't need monsters and all that. So like kind of like everything that was anime adjacent was just like, nope, we don't understand it. We don't, here, watch the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. We're good. But yeah, I've like we watched recently with our kids the Avatar: Last Airbender, and that was great. And I was like, ooh, I might be getting into anime.
Yeah, it's like, wait a minute. It's a whole new genre.
What is? I know, yeah, a whole different world.
Yeah.
Like there is so much. What is Crunchyroll? I'm not familiar with that.
It's a streaming service, and it's like every anime that ever existed, and it's like a lot. Most of which I've never.
So
even heard
it is that whole world, just all in one place.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because you said start getting into Crunchyroll, and I was like, is this a
sushi?
Like a box? like a sushi delivered to your door every month? I'm like, I mean, that kind of sounds great too. If that's not a thing, someone make that a thing. But okay. Is there, you mentioned one, didn't you? An anime that you liked recently?
I started watching Sailor Moon, actually, which I've never seen before. I've enjoyed that. What is the other one? I can't remember the name of it, but one of the main characters is like a human with like a lizard head, and it's very entertaining. It's like dark and goofy and like doesn't take itself seriously. I think it's like Dohadori or something like that.
Okay. I've definitely heard of Sailor Moon. And yeah, I might have to go check out this Crunchyroll. This sounds good. Okay, awesome. What I'm loving this week is the new-ish Knives Out movie, or I guess mini series. I don't know what it is. I think it was a movie. I don't remember, but it was really good. It's called it's Knives Out. It's on Netflix. Wake the Dead Man, I think. And it's like centered around this small town and like a priest, and there's like a murder, and then they're trying to figure it out. And it's got the same Daniel Craig with his accent and all of that, which is it's so good. It was like cringy at first whenever I heard him with his like Kentucky Fried accent, and now I'm just like, it's so good. Like I love it. But I love my wife and I love the Knives Out movies, especially the first one, and this one is also very good. We really liked it. So yeah, I think it's called Wake the Dead Man, but it was a good kind of like, they steer you in one way and you're like, this is probably, or like you can feel them steering you and you're like, no, I think it's over here. And then you find out that is also not true either. And it's like, just, I don't even know what's real. And then the end, it's really good. Nice. I love those kind of twists and turns kind of movies. But okay, well, awesome. Well, Heidi, where can people reach out, find you, follow along, listen to your podcast, all the different things?
Yeah, you can find everything I do over at evolveyourweddingbusiness.com. The podcast is called the Evolve Your Wedding Business Podcast. I do not have a page for the book just yet because we're just wrapping that up, and it'll be coming out June 3rd. So if you jump on my email list on the homepage, scroll to the bottom, you'll see a form where you can do that. You'll get notified about it. So that will be coming up very, very soon, which I'm excited about.
Okay, perfect. And this should be, I think, live to the masses, Spotify and Apple and all of that after June 3rd. So that would be perfect.
Great. Well, I will give you a link.
I'll get that link for you. Yeah. Future John and Heidi will meet up.
Yeah, they'll totally have stuff together.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, yeah, I will have links in the show notes for all of those things. But yeah, Heidi, thanks so much for being on the show.
Thank you for having me. This is fun.
Thank you again for listening to another episode of the Wisdom and the Tangents podcast. As always, you can check out all the show notes at podcast.allheartphoto.com. Definitely go give Heidi a follow. Check out her book. I have that linked in the show notes as well. And if you haven't already, drop a review. for the podcast. Wherever you're listening to this, if you're watching on YouTube, subscribe. If you are listening on Spotify, you can rate it. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts, you can actually write some kind words. I definitely prefer the kind ones. 5-star ratings are amazing. And thanks so much for everyone who has already rated the podcast. And for those of you who share with friends who you're just like, ooh, you need to hear this. You are doing marketing all wrong. Come check out this conversation with John and Heidi. But yeah, thank you for listening to today's episode. Share with a friend. I will see you next week. And if you want to listen to these ad-free and get a bunch of extra coaching and teachings, you can join the Patreon community with all of the WIT friends over there, and that is also linked in the show notes. So I will see you next time. Continue creating and continue making the world a better place. I decided to change it up today. Okay, bye y'all.